In this video, we're going to be taking a first look at the all-new AYANEO Pocket DS, and this is one that I've had my eye on for a little while. Super excited to go hands-on with it. It showed up around 2 hours ago at the time of filming this, so this is not a final review. This is, again, a first look video. I've already installed a few things, kind of got the hang of it, but I do need to spend some time with it before we really get into it. Now, if you've been keeping up with handheld releases, you know that there's a bunch of companies releasing dual-screen handhelds. This one here is a bit different than some of the others, given the chip it's using and the screen selection. A lot of new features here for an AYANEO device, and with this we do get a fingerprint sensor so we can log in really easily. And it's got AYANEO's new quick settings. This is known as the DS edition because it's on that secondary screen. At a glance, we get a ton of information. We can also change the performance profiles on the fly, gives us our in-game FPS, and so on and so on. We'll take a closer look at that in just a bit. 1080p OLED, but I mean, as you can see here, it is super crisp, vibrant colors, super deep blacks, and I've only got it set to around 50% brightness right now. It'll do up to 800 nits. When it comes to the built-in controller, AYANEO opted to use medium-sized TMR analog sticks. They feel great here. We've got a decent D-pad. It does need to be sunk down just a bit because that screen does close on top. Lots of extra function buttons, so like a dedicated AYANEO button. We've got a performance button, so we can press it at any time. It'll change that performance mode for us. A volume rocker, and our power/fingerprint sensor. Round back, we do get Hall-based linear triggers. We have our dedicated shoulder buttons and some programmable macro shoulder buttons, plus our USB Type-C port here for charging and syncing this device up. Just to give you a little size comparison here, I've got the DSi. I've also got an XLDS somewhere. I think one of my kids might have taken off with it. But I've got one of my favorite handhelds, the 2DS. Just to kind of show you a size comparison here, you can see that the Pocket DS is just much larger across the board. When it comes to the overall specs for the new Pocket DS, this is powered by the Snapdragon G3X Gen 2. This will do up to a 15-watt TDP, which is pretty crazy for an ARM SoC. It's 8 cores, up to 3.36 gigahertz on that big prime core. The GPU is an Adreno A32, and this will clock up to 1 gigahertz. AYANEO is offering this in a couple different RAM and storage variants, so you can go with 8 gigs of RAM, 12 or 16, and 128 gigabytes of storage up to 1 terabyte, but all of them support a micro SD card. The top display here is actually 165 Hz 7-inch OLED display with a resolution of 1920 by 1080. 800 nits of brightness, 256 pixels per inch, and 100% sRGB. The top panel has 5 different refresh rate modes that we can use: 60, 90, 120, 144, or 165. And as for that lower screen, it's a 5-inch LCD panel with a resolution of 1024 by 768, so it is a 4:3 aspect ratio display. 550 nits of brightness on that, 100% sRGB. And this thing's packing an 8,000 milliamp hour battery, and it's running Android 13 out of the box. These displays are actually independent from each other, so at the time of making this, I cannot find a way to mirror the top screen to the bottom or vice versa. I do think that that would be a great mode to have here, but we've got a few different modes to choose from. From our quick settings down here at the bottom, we've got a dual screen independent display, 2 screens displaying different content so we can run 2 different apps at any given time. Main screen only, so this turns off the secondary screen for the high refresh rate experience on the main screen. And then we've got second screen only, which is going to disable that top screen. And with that 4:3 aspect ratio, this is perfect for a lot of retro games. From the quick settings, we've also got a way to kind of transfer the controller to each screen. So the first mode is going to be auto switch. If you tap on the top while this is enabled, your controller is going to work with that one. Tap on the bottom, it's going to work with that secondary screen. You can lock it to the main screen or you can lock it to the secondary screen. So far, for the most part, I've been using this in dual screen mode, so I can run 2 different apps at any given time. So up top, I'm going to run Minecraft. And down here, let's say I wanted to go to like a guide for the game that I'm running up top, or we can even watch a movie. So I've got Night of the Living Dead down here playing, got Minecraft up top, and I mean, you can definitely get by playing basically anything here. This chip has more than enough power to handle any Android game that you throw at it. Even something like Fortnite will run at 90 FPS, and I think that's about as high as we can get the refresh rate with that game. Not sure if there's a 120 mode, maybe on some devices, but this chip does handle it at 90 FPS all day. We've also got an easy switch mode, so you can just drag with 3 fingers up or down depending on which screen you want to switch, and you can switch it from right here. And since we have to swap aspect ratios with something like Minecraft, we will have to restart down here. But if you're running a retro game, you can just swap back and forth because it doesn't need to switch like this game would. The quick access menu on this dual screen does come in really handy. So we can change apps, we can kill an app, and we've got a control mode right here. We can take a screenshot of the top or bottom, change the brightness and volume, and that top screen does get really bright. I mean, up to 800 nits of brightness. And pressing that AYANEO button will give us the DS Edition quick settings. So from here, there's tons of great information, like what FPS our game is running at, temperature on the CPU, GPU, clocks, and everything like that. We've also got 5 different preset performance modes, or we can totally customize mode to our liking. Max mode obviously is going to give you the best performance, but the fan does kick on and it gets a bit loud. I mean, this thing is now maxed out. To tell you the truth, I haven't even used max mode in my testing yet. I've been in gaming mode, and it's pretty quiet there. After a little while, the fan will kick on, but it doesn't go up to 100% like in max mode. But we've also got this performance mode button, so at any time we can press it and just swap between those modes. Heading back into the DS Edition quick settings here. Full controller mapping. We can also change what kind of controller we want. So if we want to go to standard or Japanese, it'll just swap our button layout. Everything on this device is customizable, from the dead zones on the analog sticks to the dead zones on the triggers around back. And if you've seen the other Android devices that AYANEO puts out, we've got the AYANEO quick settings. We've got full access. So from here, we can really dial this thing in and create our own performance profile. It allows you to change the clocks on the CPU and even the GPU, so you can really make it your own. Personally, I love having that bottom screen on with that performance overlay going. It just tells me how hard this system's working. We've got a real-time FPS counter, and once we disable this bottom screen, we can actually set up a real-time FPS counter on the top screen. But since we've got the secondary display, I mean, this is exactly how I've been using it. I really haven't even gone from, the bottom to the top screen yet. I've just always had both of them on. But obviously, one of the main things somebody wants to pick one of these up for is emulation, be it DS, 3DS, or even, Wii U with the dual screen setup. I've got DS set up right now with Drastic, and it's super easy to get this up and running. I've also tested some 3DS and Wii U. It's just hard to show off on YouTube right now. I will show you, what kind of performance I got out of it. But this has been really fun with DS emulation, and this is one of those games that really utilizes that secondary display. So we'll get some gameplay on that bottom and top, but a lot of the DS games out there only utilize the second display for, let's say, a menu or quick settings. This is one that I definitely want to show off because, yeah, we've got both screens up and running here. I tried to match the brightness, and the LCD at the bottom will not go up to 800 nits. It goes up to 550. But even if I can get real close with that AMOLED up top to 550, still a pretty bright experience. Like I mentioned, I did go through and test a few emulators, at least dual screen mode right now. I'll get into some GameCube and PS2 in my next video. But when it comes to like Wii U, using SimU here, in gaming mode from iSpace, Mario Kart 8, 1080, 60, Bayonetta, 1080, 60, and Wind Waker HD runs at 30. We're up to 1080, and I do think that we could probably upscale these games a bit higher with this chipset. But the highest resolution on the AMOLED we have is 1080, so there's really no point in pushing it anymore. And as for 3DS, using the Azuhar EMU, you can get it over on Google Play. It's actually really awesome now. Ultra Sun 4X 30, Dragon Quest 8 4X 30, both of those games only run it up to 30. I haven't found a hack yet for Azuhar that will allow me to run them at 60. There may be one out there, I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below. And 3D Land does run at 60, 4X, only in gaming mode. I didn't even test out, max mode there. Gaming mode is more than enough for most emulation that we're going to throw at this thing for sure. So far, I've been having a really good time with this, and the D-pad does feel pretty decent. In my next video, we will test a few fighting games, so keep an eye out. Medium-sized TMR sticks are spot on. Around back, we've got those Hall-based linear triggers, so if you did want to do some cloud gaming with some racing games, that'll really come in handy there. And the whole system is pretty comfortable to hang on to for long periods of time also. But I do need to spend more time with this. I want to get an idea of battery life with both of those screens running at least 50% brightness. It's got the 8,000 milliamp hour battery, so I do expect to get some pretty decent performance out of this, especially in like, streaming mode or gaming mode. Maxed out mode might be a bit different, but there's not much that we need to use max performance settings here for anyway. But yeah, keep an eye on the channel because I do need to spend at least 2, 3 more days with this. I'll have a full review coming up. And if there's anything you'd want me to test on this, just let me know in the comments below. But if you're interested in learning a little more about the AYANEO Pocket DS, AYANEO does have their Indiegogo up and running right now. They're offering different tiers, so if this is something you're interested in, I'll leave links in the description. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. Like always, thanks for watching.